in some parts of the world, women are suppressed and, like a second class kind of people, or they cut their clitoris out and crazy things like that, This is one extreme that is happening right now. And another extreme is to say for a woman that, oh, we actually don't need men in this world, It's okay. Women are enough, good enough. So I think it's important to acknowledge that when we talk about feminism in the modern world, the initial idea was great, so that a woman would be equally valuable as a human being, having equal rights, the same as men, so that as a human being, a woman would be on the same level with men. So the initial idea is great, but it went too far, because it went too far to the point where some women say, we don't need men actually. Yeah. Feminism went against being feminine, because when you are feminine, then you embrace the masculinity, you embrace the opposite sex if you're feminine. The same way as if you're masculine, you embrace the opposite sex. So to be truly feminine, I think it's important to have the freedoms, because if you are suppressed as a woman, you can't really be feminine. You will perform a theater trying to please the master. This is what happens in societies where women are suppressed and don't have their rights. So this is not femininity either. This is playing the game, an ugly game actually in this case. And doing, because then a woman goes to a man and it's not her free will. She's giving to somebody as an object, that's it. She's probably hating the man. She's disgusted when she has to do the job, so to say, the job. And so it's terrible, and it's not feminine at all. It's being a slave, basically, going into that direction. And another extreme is to say we don't need men. Or men are wrong because they're men. Their nature is evil. This is another extreme, and it's so crazy nowadays. And of course, you cannot be feminine if you think like this. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter how many surgeries you made on yourself to look feminine. I don't know, everywhere. It's very popular nowadays. It's very crazy. Young women doing a lot of surgeries on themselves to look feminine, and very often not behaving feminine. So it doesn't make sense anyway. So feminism went extreme, and it's not feminine at all, and it's a pity. And it's somehow the male reaction is very similar, because the women, some women, they said we don't need men, and the men's reaction was the same. The men's reaction was, okay, then we don't need women. So it's also extreme. And it's sad what's going on in our societies, in many societies, especially I would say in the Western world. It's the case from what I see, and I'm like every year I'm in both the Western world, the West society, and Eastern world. I travel a lot. Every year I make a travel. And if you are subscribed to this channel, you'll know I have some traveling videos. So I have experience from the West, and I have experience from the East, and it's not from the past, but currently I have this experience. And I think it's mostly it's the problem of the West, less in the East, but yeah, it's kind of all mixed up nowadays, I think. So you have similar tendencies also in some part of the East too. But in general, yeah, it's the Western problem. So what would be the solution? Yeah, I think the truth is in the middle. In the middle, yeah. When men and women are equally, have equal rights as human beings, but their gender roles are very different. You know, don't mix it up. If a woman have the same rights, it doesn't mean she's like a man. And she doesn't need a man. Yeah. It's okay to be single, but it's not okay to disrespect the opposite sex. It's not okay to put down the opposite sex, no matter if you're a woman or a man. And feminists went as far as putting men down. So I don't like that. And again, the initial idea is great, because being free is important if you want to be feminine. Because as a guy, if you go to a woman who is suppressed, you will never experience authentic femininity, because she's just playing a theater. Yeah, it's not feminine. If she's dependent emotionally or on this level of the society or financially or whatever, it's a theater then, you know, and she may, you know, look feminine, but she's not really feminine. She's not showing any authentic feelings, that she's probably hating you very much and close to vomiting when you get close to her, you know. And if she doesn't have clitoris, it's even worse, you know, which happens as we speak, you know, in this world, on this planet, in the human realm. I think humans sometimes go as far as being animals, yeah. It's a different topic, but you know, in animal world you have crazy things going on. Sometimes, like, there are some female species, they eat a man after sex because they don't need a man anymore, you know. And I think some humans are very close to that, be it on the level of, you know, putting women down, or being on the level of putting men down. It's very close. It's a very close mentality, you know, like some animals. We just had sex, so I don't need the man anymore. Animals do like that. Some animals really do. I know it's also pretty crazy. I don't know why nature made it this way, but we humans, we don't have to go so far, okay? The truth is in the balance, in being free and equal as humans, men and women, yeah? The same eye level. But we are different. As genders, we are very different. And let's embrace it. Embrace it, because this is the beauty of it all. Because the puzzles coming together and it feels good, okay? So it should be different. So if you go to a man and meet him on 3 levels, intellectual, head level, which can also mean like some tendencies and views on the world, and or intellectual in general, yeah? You don't have to be as intellectual as him, because very often men tend to be very intellectual actually. and women, they are, in many cultures, they're considered to be wise, but it's more like intuitive wisdom kind of stuff. It's like going beyond the logical chains, and men are more into logic and intellect in general, I would say. I hope, and the women are in the wise, intuitive direction more. So, but if we meet on the head level with a man, and on the heart level too, heart level meaning like being kind, and also on the emotional level, or on the level how we feel with each other, this kind of level. This is more how we think or view the world, and this is more, the heart level is more like how we feel together, how it feels like. We don't have to talk. How does it feel, And the third level, which is the basic foundation, it should be, is the sexual level, down there. And here on the sexual level, it's also good to be open-hearted and just be open. A woman, she's like more like opening up, like space, and a man is more like, power, and this coming together is a beautiful thing on the sexual level, including, and I think also it's very important to see sexuality as something very natural and beautiful, and not dirty, because in some cultures people tend to think that sexuality is something dirty, that the heart is beautiful, the head is beautiful, and the sexuality is mud. This is such a wrong understanding, to my point of view, because we humans, we are pure initially, and it's very natural, all of our essence, including sexuality. So as a woman, if you can meet a man on those levels, meaning you are open to him on those levels, you don't have to be the same, because you are different. You are different on the sexual level, that's why it fits. You are different on emotional level, but it still fits. And intellectually it can be also very different, but you still, meet each other there too. And if you can go like this to a man, or if you're a man, if you can go like this to a woman and open up on all the levels, then that's really bliss, a lot of bliss and a lot of meaning in this kind of union, and it can only happen if the woman has all the freedoms and she's willing, on her free will, to go to you and open up. She's not forced, she doesn't have to, but she appreciates you, she's fascinated by your qualities, she's very attracted to your male intellect, heart, and power. She's just so amazed about you that she wants to come to you. So freedom is very important if you want to experience true femininity, but it shouldn't go to the extremes of hating the opposite sex, of putting the opposite sex down, disrespecting the opposite sex. Okay? That's what I think. That's why I'm nothing to do with feminism. But I'm all for freedom. It's all about freedom. Has nothing to do with feminism. At least how it looks nowadays. And I think, like in my case, I was born in, I mean, I was born in the Soviet Union, and there are many things that were not nice, but when it comes to gender roles, it was natural. It was quite traditional, but women and men, they had the same rights. Yeah, so the same rights, the same eye level, but very different in their gender. Yeah, it was always appreciated that men are educated in the way to protect women, and women are educated in the way to appreciate the man for being a man. Don't try to castrate a man. So this is very wrong. Yeah, this is very wrong. So, like, I was brought up in a very healthy surrounding when it comes to gender roles. Yeah, being equal as humans and very different, and puzzles coming together. So, and I guess if one was not having those kind of things, healthy relationships in front of you, then it can be different. It can be difficult to understand how a woman can be free. I mean, the society was not free. I had another video. I mean, we had no freedoms in Soviet Union, for sure not. But when it comes to gender roles, it's fine. It was fine. It's, of course, when it comes to gender, it's never perfect. Yeah, it's never perfect. So if you don't meet on 3 levels, try to meet on 2 levels. Sexual level should always be included because it's the foundation. But if you can meet like on the heart level and sexual level, it could be already a great relationship, or sexual and intellectual. But if it's only intellectual and emotional, then it's more like being friends or family feeling. Very close people, but not partner, not a loving romantic partner, you know. And it's also totally okay to be single as long as you don't hate the opposite sex. It's actually healthy to be single sometimes. Yeah. And like if you break up from a long-term relationship, it's a good idea to stay single for a while. Yeah. So staying single is not a problem. The problem is the hate inside of you, the hurt inside of you, the disrespect inside of you. That's the problem. That's the problem. You can be in a relationship and hate the opposite sex too. So it's not about being single or not. It's about your attitude to the other sex. If you're a man and you disrespect female as such, female principle as such, your mom is female, okay? And you disrespect a woman as such, as a female principle, it's like hurting yourself from inside. Because you're going against your essence of being a protector to women and mankind in general. You know, men are really great in protecting others. Yeah, be it whatever, you know, police, military, buildings that protect others, or whatever. It was always like this. Men are protectors, and if you like going against the female principles, like going against your purpose, because you're supposed to protect, okay, female and children and elderly and stuff. This is your essence. And if a woman hates a man, it's not better. It's not better. Then she's really not feminine anymore. Or she's just a slave. That's another extreme. Yeah. So she doesn't know what it feels like to be a woman. Yeah. Not a slave, but a woman, actually. So And women can hurt men a lot on the level of their speech. They're so capable of hurting men. And men shut up. And they hurt. They shut up and shut down. And they say, oh, then we don't need women. Very human reaction, very healthy actually. If you're not a masochist, you try to get away from what hurts. But on the other hand, life was never meant to be easy, so don't run away so easily. Maybe heal yourself and let's see. Anyway, I wish you all the best, and I wish that you respect the opposite sex, and men, please never hurt women physically. You can do that. Really bad. It's really bad for you. It's going against you, your essence. You can never be masculine if you beat a woman up. Unless she's crazy and attacking you. I'm not talking about this, but in general. And women, please don't attack men verbally, don't hurt them, because you can.